50 children have been rescued and 9 people arrested after an Interpol investigation into an international child abuse ring.
Here's a summary of the article.
50 children have been rescued and 9 people arrested after an Interpol investigation into an international pedophile ring. The arrests were made in Thailand, Australia and the US, and more are expected, Interpol said. Police believe 100 more children have suffered abuse and are working to identify them. Police say the abusers uploaded new images on a weekly basis and often masked the children's faces to make it harder for investigators to identify them. The first arrests came last year, when the site's main administrator, Montri Salingam, was detained in Thailand, and another administrator, Rucha Tokputsa, was caught in Australia. Salingam, who abused one of his nephews, was sentenced to 146 years in prison in Thailand, while an accomplice, a preschool teacher, got 36 years. Police found thousands of images taken in both Thailand and Australia on his devices.
This post received a score of 22,780, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
63,000 users. Truly evil, sick fucks.
One of the big ones they shut down a few years ago had millions. Police basically have to focus on producers and hosters because there are too many users to chase down.
The result of that site takeover and shutdown? Dismissals nearly in 90% of the 2,000 or so cases that were brought to charges, with the other 10% taking plea agreements, and not a single trial ever took place. Every time a suspect started questioning how the police got their evidence, they would drop the charges, or they would refuse to reveal how they got their evidence and the charges were dismissed. I want these people to face consequences for their abuses, but if the police got the evidence in a way that would make it unreliable or questionable when push comes to shove, all of these people will walk free.
When cops set up a drug sting, they don't actually give you drugs. It also means the government agencies were hosting the pictures and videos. It's pretty blurry on the lines of entrapment, and thus could easily be thrown out. They use it to protect kids as much as possible. Beyond that, avoiding having their tactics outed makes it harder for them to shut these things down.
It's called a honeypot, I believe.
Interpol needs more love and a lot more support.
Which albums do you recommend?
Turn on the Bright Lights as a masterpiece.
Rosemary, Heaven Restores You Tonight.
You're Coming With Me.
You are a child's worst nightmare, you are every parent's horror, you are a menace to the community, Judge Liesl Chapman said in Adelaide.
FFS, one of them was a fucking preschool teacher. The hardest thing I struggle with as a parent is telling my kids that monsters aren't real. They certainly are real, but the scariest part is they don't look like James P. Sullivan, they look like your teacher, priest or your best friend's dad.
Teach bodily autonomy from as soon as possible, and that no random adult ever needs the help of a child.
Unless they need you to hold the flashlight and don't shine it in my face, Jesus.
Thanks for the lol amongst all of this awfulness. How many of these fucking rings are there? It feels like this is like the 10th time this year reading this headline. The hard part is busting rings that don't have ties to politicians and CEOs.
I thought this would be one of them until I read the article's last sentence.
Greater than the identities of the others arrested are yet to be released, but some are residing in the U.S. and held public positions of trust, said Eric McLaughlin, the HSI's regional attaché in Bangkok. That seems to be up there.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.